I felt satisfied that the House of Representatives, did the right thing by first issuing a directive that the Federal Safety Commission should stop forthwith from issuing this new license and number plate registration, and then directing that there should be an investigation by the committee responsible for the Federal Safety Commission, and hopefully there will be a hearing, and I think that Nigerians can then go there and then ventilate their grievances, because I tell you, Nigerians are aggrieved about this exercise, not only because of the arcane issue of the unconstitutionality of the act, but because of the extortionate dimension. What is the value? It's like in the midst of all this crisis, Nigerians are just being buffeted left, right, and center for a subsidy removal at all, and then you have this kind of thing, which is like a road tax. So, what is the sense in facing out what you have now and insisting by way of military diktat that within 1 year, to terminate on August 31st next year, everybody should migrate from this old regime to the new regime? Before now, credible voices in the country have lampooned the FRSC for embarking on this act at all. I recall that the Guardian in its editorial on September 15, carpeted the FRSC. Not only the FRSC, the federal government, because at that time, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Goodluck Jonathan, had launched the new scheme on September 2nd. And before that September 2nd, the Punch in its editorial, precisely on August 19th, 2011, also decried what the FRSC. As a matter of fact, in a usually punchy manner, the Punch headed the editorial Shidoka's licensing gimmick. And they were unequivocal in saying, don't do this. But I guess that media opinion, public opinion doesn't matter in Nigeria. So now that the chicken has come up to roost and the National Assembly, the House of Representatives is saying, stop and let's investigate this matter. We hope that the FRSC and the powers that be will allow that investigation to take place, so that if at the end of the day the FRSC is found to be the appropriate body to embark on this exercise, and that is the sole determiner, either by itself or in conjunction with the joint tax board, to fix the rates, then Nigerians will have had the opportunity to discuss this matter, and then will then have to succumb to the almighty idea.
Maybe you should space it more on this, Mr. Ogunye, because you talked about it. You said, well, I remember at that time you described it as an aberration of the 1999 Constitution, and you also talked about it being on the residual list. So maybe you space it more for the people. Let's break that.
Yes, I will attempt to break down. Under the Constitution, Nigeria is a federalism. Although a lot of distortion has taken place, and so it is now common for people to say that Nigeria is more of a unitary government than a federal government. But under the Constitution and under a presidential system of government, we have separation of powers: legislative powers, judicial power, and executive powers. And under legislative powers, the National Assembly and states' houses of assembly can't just legislate anyhow. There are parameters, there are items they are competent to legislate on. For the National Assembly, the power of the National Assembly to legislate is derived firstly from Section 4 of the Constitution, that summarily defines the legislative power of the Federation. And so Section 4.2 specifically then provides that the area of competence of legislation of the National Assembly shall be in the first part of the second schedule to the Constitution. And so there are items listed thereon. Item 63 on that list empowers the National Assembly to legislate for or on traffic on Federal Trunk A road. Traffic on Federal Trunk A road. So the power of the National Assembly to legislate on anything traffic and more or less is just like that. Although Section 68 of the Constitution of that item, item 68 of that item is the omnibus item that says that, well, in addition to all these items listed, the National Assembly shall also have power to legislate on any incidental or supplementary matters to any of those items. Now, creating the Federal Road Safety Commission is one such incidental matter, and that's why I said Federal Road Safety Commission, a commission to work for safety on federal roads. However, in 2007, you recall that the Federal Road Safety Commission was first established by the military in 1988 during the Babangida regime, and in 1992 there was a decree. Now, under that decree, there was a function that was given to the Federal Road Safety Commission, even under a military regime, and that function was that it should centrally design in a uniform manner number plates and license. That was when Professor Wole Soyinka and all the others were there, and that was when we migrated from the old bold one of WN, whatever, Western Nigeria and so on and so forth, to this sophisticated one that appears like the American type. And so, during that period, however, the Federal Road Safety Commission then indulged in setting up plans and all that, and assumed the power to be issuing driver license. But when the 1999 Constitution came into place, we assumed that all the tiers of government will have realized that, okay, the areas of their competence, powers they ought to exercise, and so on and so forth. But that anomaly, that aberration continued. And so, in 2007, the National Assembly did the unthinkable. 4 days to when President Olusegun Obasanjo left power, in a rushed manner. In fact, the process was not complete. It was so rushed. They then concentrated in the hands of the Federal Road Safety Commission the power to be the sole producer, not only designer, but producer, and the authority to issue vehicle plate numbers and driver's license. Now, those functions are contained in the provision of Section 5G of the Federal Road Safety Commission Re-establishment Act of 2007, Act 22. It was released even after Obasanjo had ceased to be in power. It was released July 13, 2007, after the transition. And so, and Section 10, subsection 3, paragraph D and F.
Okay.
Those are the sections that vest, or purport to vest, as lawyer would say, in the Federal Road Safety Commission the power to do. So now our contention, and that's why we went to court as far back as March, is that, look, that section or those sections are in excess of the legislative powers or the legislative competence of the National Assembly.
Are you talking about March this year?
March this year.
But that was. But the time we saw the Court Martial talk about the number plate was a couple of months ago.
They've started since then. So, but they started advertising, claiming that they now had the authority of backing of the Joint Task Board, meaning the Commissioner of Finance of all the states, to embark on this. And so now so it's taking some time. And so what we did was to try to apprehend the situation and say, no, don't embark on this unconstitutional path.
Sorry, expatiate a little more on that Joint Tax Board. What happened then to the laws of the Joint Tax Board as it has to do with national road traffic regulations, and because they also have a function in terms of plate numbering, when that Act of 22 was done?
The Act of 22. The
one you said gave them the sole rights to the manufacturer and the issuance of the plate numbering.
The work of the Joint Task Board. No, I think that the Joint Task Board, a lot of things goes on in this country. The Joint Task Board function basically is not to fix road taxes. Road taxes are meant to be fixed and collected as collective revenue by states government. But you know, we are coming from a military background, and so from the center, power flows down to the states. And so whereas the states on their own is talking about state police, they are talking about more revenue and so on and so forth. They can't see the connection between their right to generate taxes on their roads in their states and the volume of revenue they will generate.
I remember you once said that the motive, in your words, you said the motive for doing all of this is to generate revenue. Why did you say so?
Yeah, because in the adverts as one of the